You are listening to the Babe You've Got This podcast, where you receive mindset and business coaching designed for the everyday gal who has big goals and dreams and is craving that guidance, insight, and reaffirmation for creating more success in her life. So this is episode number 22, and I'm interviewing Sarah Kenyon, who is a business coach helping kickass creatives who are looking to unload their overwhelm, gain their clarity, get unstuck in their business, and take some serious action. In our chat today, we dive deep into the anxiety and overwhelm struggles Sarah suffered from and what she found actually really helped her manage these struggles, and then take the plunge and make the change in her work life to really get over this stress and empower herself to create success in her life. I really love our chat today because Sarah shares not only her struggles, but what she implemented. And she knows that they work because now this is what she goes ahead and coaches other women in business to implement so they can overcome their struggles and overwhelm and actually hit the goals that they set out to. So make sure you have a pen and notepad with this because Sarah has some incredible tips that she's sharing. Plus, I just love the way she speaks because I'm personally really related to her, and I think that you can definitely relate to her too. This podcast is brought to you by Abundance Club, an exclusive online membership to a 16-week holistic health and mindset coaching program. Abundance Club supports, educates, and empowers its members with their self-love, mental health, happiness, nutrition, and exercise. You can learn more by checking out the website, which is www.abundanceclub.net. You can also find that link in the show notes. Just a reminder to hit subscribe so you are always in the loop when a new episode drops. I am so grateful that I can give you this time and content as you listen in today. And remember to leave that heart-filled review and 5 sparkly stars if you are listening through iTunes, or leave your love-filled comment in the comment section below. By this process, you are contributing to the bigger vision and impact of inspiring and helping women just like you to grow their success and up-level their mindset. Don't forget to leave your Instagram handle too so I can give you a shout out on our social media and recognize you for your greatness too. All right, let's get started. So I'm here with the beautiful Sarah and we're just laughing to ourselves right now because this is actually our take number 2 of our recording of this episode. Did you want to say hi, Sarah?
Hello.
We're just so busy laughing at ourselves because we did this. Guys, this is the first time this has ever happened to me, recording an episode where it just did not save. Apparently the file was damaged. So Sarah and I were back to do this again for you. But I know take 2 always means we'll probably get to the point a lot quicker and we'll probably have more value to add because we won't be rambling as much, maybe. How do you feel, Sarah? How are you feeling?
I'm pretty sure we can be on point this time.
Yeah.
If our tech plays.
If this works. So guys, if you're listening to this, know that it has been a success. This recording has worked and we're not just talking to ourselves thinking people are listening. So I've already given you an intro, but just to recap, Sarah is a creative business coach. And I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about your struggles with overwhelm. I'm literally named this podcast, How to Fuck Off the Overwhelm. How to F off, actually.
Yes, I love that.
So we're going to talk about how Sarah fucked off the overwhelm. A bit of the struggle she had. And that was her babe, you've got this moment, because it was the whole being overwhelmed. We've all been there. Whether it's a lot or whether we might be overwhelmed right now. That's why you're listening to this podcast. So we'll give you some tips at the end. Well, Sarah will give you some tips at the end of sharing her story on how you can put some things into place to tell the overwhelm to F off. Fuck off, F off, whatever. We drop potty mouth bombs.
I was going to say, we're swearing a lot more in this episode.
Swearing a lot more. Well, it makes it more fun. Okay, so Sarah, talk to us.
Yes.
Tell us give us a little rundown of what life looked like and what the struggle was, what was happening, what was going on, and then feed it into when you had that enough is enough moment.
100%. So basically, what happened was I struggled with anxiety and depression from when I was 14. And then from there, the way that I managed that for myself was creating to-do lists. And I didn't know at the time that that's what goal management was, that I didn't even know what a to-do list was. I was just writing down stuff, and my parents were like, oh my God, like, Sarah, stop with the lists. And I was like, oh, but it helps me. But, you know, it means like, call this person, put on laundry, get this gift, do this assignment, you know, little things like that. And I was doing it from such a young age because that was the only way that I really could manage my overwhelm. You know, everyone and their dog was just saying, just breathe. I was like, well, I've been doing that since I've been born and that hasn't worked. So let's try something else.
Actually, so I have to butt in because that is really funny. Like I hate it when someone says to me, just calm down and breathe. I'm like, I know, but I can't.
I know how
I
to
need
breathe.
more practical, or like, can you breathe for me? Because I can't do that right now.
Do you understand the concept of a panic attack? So, but it was like, so I had, really, really bad anxiety and depression, and it got to the point where it was anticipatory. So I would have really, really bad panic attacks, and it was really, really debilitating. And then as life went on, I just continued to manage that for myself with my goals. And that's really how it kind of transitioned into where I am now. But what actually kind of set the tone for me to step into the role I am in now was last August, as we spoke about. So I made the leap from my corporate role into doing my business full time. And that's because I really felt that overwhelm creeping in again. I'd gone through a patch of, I actually studied makeup artistry. So I did my diploma a few years ago. And during that time, the anxiety, the overwhelm, you know, it's still something you manage day to day. It's something that doesn't go away completely. But through goal management and focusing on something I was truly passionate about, it really seemed to feel like I had, you know, my shit together. I was like, oh, I am actually achieving things. That is exciting. And so I went through the process of becoming a makeup artist. I started up my makeup artistry freelance business. And then I also got into a corporate role where I was a personal assistant and a program coordinator. And because I like keeping busy and don't know where to stop, I also had a virtual assistant business, and I was a support worker at the same time. So I was doing all the things, and I have always wanted to, you know, I get bored very easily. So I always like to be challenging myself. But this got to the point where I really felt myself pushing myself too hard, and really thinking that, you know, in reality, yes, there are external pressures from other people, but in reality, the only person putting pressure on yourself is you. And I was really stepping up to the plate. I was like, you know, I haven't been like this in a long time. I want to see where this goes. I want to give it my all. You know, I need to prove to myself and prove to other people that I can beat this anxiety, because years and years and years ago, I had, you know, I've had so many jobs. Yes, I would work 4 at a time, but in the long run, I'd either work 4 at a time, or I'd really struggle holding some down because of that anxiety. And, you know, as I said, it was really debilitating. So I'd finally found my peace with it, I guess. And I was stepping into this new stage of my life where I thought, I have got my shit together. I am fine. But then I really started to feel like, shit, this is not right. Something's happening. And the overwhelm took over. I was getting burnt out. I was getting the shakes. Like, I would stop and talk to my friends, and they're like, Sarah, are you okay? And I would just hold my hands up, and I was just shaking because I was so amped up, and because I was putting so much pressure on myself. And, you know, we did speak about it yesterday about, you know, I was getting IBS as well, which, you know, if you've had before, it's awful. But we were talking about that's literally your body giving you the signs that something is not right. You know, something's got to give here. And I was getting to that point where I loved my job. I loved all my roles, and I was so appreciative because through those roles is really helped amplify my message and my experience of where I am today. But I knew that either something had to give where I let up some, slack, or I really took a step back and said, I really want to impact people on a deeper level, on a much bigger level than I'm doing right now. And if I keep going down the path that I'm going, I'm going to burn out. I'm going to get back into that really anxious, panic attack driven person that I don't want to go back to that stage. And that was absolutely terrifying. So that's when in August, or previous to August, I actually gave 5 months notice because I was like, here you go. It was like a slow breakup.
5 months notice with your job. Like, has anyone like, I don't think, in my head, I've probably done a 5 month, like, yeah, that's when I plan on leaving, but I won't tell them till like the 2 weeks out.
Oh,
I love how you gave the 5 months. I'm surprised they didn't actually sack you, because usually you don't want to tell them too early, but.
well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I was really, really lucky because my old boss is still my mentor today. And she really took me in, and we didn't actually mention this yesterday, and I really wish I had spoken about it. So I actually came to her because it was a startup business. It was a startup, I guess, incubator for businesses in the Hunter region. And it was a government initiative where they gave free business advice. And I came in needing advice for my makeup artistry. And I ended up walking away with the job, and that's how I ended up working there and having that on the side. But I loved my role so much because she really took me under her wing, and she taught me everything and really pushed me, like not pushed me, but pushed me because she knew that I could do more. She's like, Sarah, I know you can do a presentation. I know you can do these things. And without that backing and without that nurturing, I wouldn't be as confident as I am now. So I knew that I'd worked with her for 3 years, and I was like, there is no way that I would just be like, here's my resignation, see ya. There's no way that I would do that, because she had become such a part of my life. And
Yeah.
I really, really appreciated it. So I was like, you know what, I'm looking at going, either something's got to give, or I really feel that, my anxiety has gotten to the point. And she knew briefly about it because she'd actually hired me through a company where they deal with people with anxiety trying to get jobs. So
Yeah.
she took a chance on me, knew, a little bit about it, but she didn't delve too deep into it because she's like, that's your business. If you can do the job, you can do the job. And I'm so glad that she took that chance on me. But from that experience, I was like, you know what, I'm going to say, let's part ways. We're still in contact. She's still one of my biggest cheerleaders. But I just needed to take that step back and was like, you know what, I have enough knowledge now, and I'm really passionate about helping creatives because I was a creative myself. I really want to impact on a bigger level, and I need to listen to my body and what it's saying to me. And, if I'm going to put this much stress on myself, it might as well be on my own business rather than someone else.
Someone else.
So,
I totally agree with that. Like, so many people they're happy to give to their employer, their boss, their business they work for, and they hardly give themselves. And they wonder why they feel so like drained and feel like they don't have a purpose and feel like there's no balance. And it's so much easier. Like I could easily wake up to go teach a Pilates class and at 6 a.m. Let's change those words. If I said I would, it wouldn't be easy, but if I said, yep, I'll teach a 6 a.m. class, right? And I would get up. But if I told myself, okay, I want to start working on my business at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, I know the alarm would go off and I'd be like, well, I'm my own boss. So I'll snooze and I'll leave it. So people are so much, you know what I'm trying to say, guys, clearly not getting my words today, but yeah, it's so much easier for us to say yes to other people than ourselves. And what we need to do is really shift that energy and give ourselves that, give ourselves that priority. So,
and it is truly hard because one of the things we spoke about yesterday about this topic was, you know, because I respected my boss so much and literally everyone around me, because I was, you know, talking to people close to me being like, you know, I really think I need to make the leap. I think I need to take this step for myself, but I'm scared because I respect this person so much that I don't want to leave them. And they were like, Sarah, she'll understand. And she did. And she is still, as I said, one of my biggest supporters. Like if I were to get a Grammy, I wouldn't get a Grammy, but if I were to get a Grammy, she'd be someone I'd thank. I'd be like, thank you to this person.
I love that. Grammy, maybe, is that singing? Isn't that music?
Yeah. Can't sing for shit. So
Academy Award. Hey, I think I can sing pretty good.
A Telstra nomination or something. Yeah. But as we were saying, like, having that external fear of failure, I had a massive, massive thing of that because I was like, well, shit, like I'm either really worried about what she's going to think because I respect her decision. I also respect my parents saying, well, you know, you've finally found a career that you look like you're progressing in. And my friends looking inward saying, oh, Sarah's got her shit together. She's doing presentations. She's doing this. She works for a startup. And me being like, well, I feel like there's something more here. I feel like I can impact more. But if I go away from that, are people going to think I failed? Like, are people going to think I failed in the 9 to 5 and I'm giving up again and going in a different direction? And so that was playing on my mind constantly. And I think a lot of people get stuck in that fear of failure from not only their self, but really worrying what other people will think of them. And that is a huge factor, especially for people that you really admire and respect. And especially when you've got anxiety and overwhelm, you're like, oh, well, the easy option would be to stay and just make sure everyone kind of feels happy. And, you know, that's why I got to that point where, you know, I wasn't feeling good in myself, even though I could definitely have progressed. I could have definitely made everyone else happy. But in the long run, I'm so much more happier every day knowing I get to create what I want to create. And yes, it's a huge roller coaster being your own boss. Like, God, some days you are just like, I have got this shit. Like, I am going to be 6 figures. Like, there is just nothing in the way of my progression. And then some days I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I think all of us can relate to that. I think we have more of those days than the others.
Well, we were talking about like I can never say it, Mercury in retrograde. Literally those moments, and you're like, well, I guess I better update my resume because obviously this is not working.
Yeah. And that's, I think, where the panic attacks come from. Like, speaking from a fellow panic attacker, is we honestly think we honestly think our whole world is ending because we're not progressing at the rate we expect. And people are saying to us, like, look how far you've come, or look what you're doing, look at the leap you're taking, look at the confidence you needed to summon and the courage you need to summon to quit that job and start your own thing. And here we are, like, breaking down, thinking we're not good enough. Like, oh, it's crazy.
That imposter syndrome thing is so, like, even like as a newbie or someone who's a seasoned entrepreneur, they literally have the exact same thing. You know, I'm winging it. I'm an imposter. I'm, you know, especially when you're looking at taking that plunge and thinking, oh shit, you know, what if I do stuff up? You know, what if I do go off track? Or if you've come from, you know, a successful career in a 9 to 5 and, you know, you've built all these contacts and people think, oh, wow, she's doing really great. Going to a startup to having to literally start from scratch and thinking, oh, like this is going to take a long time to build up and I'm starting from the bottom, you know, and it can be really scary, but I feel like if you don't take that leap, and I've told you before, if I hadn't really just said, you know what, fuck it, like if I don't give this a red hot go, I'm going to regret it. And I know that I need to really trust myself and know that I know my shit, and know that you know, I am meant for something more, I would never have made that leap, you know. Yeah, it's just insane, crazy.
I know, isn't it great? Like, it's like a little bit of a reminiscing.
I know, I was like,
oh,
right memory.
The memories wipe the tear. So you quit the job last year in August. You quit and you started up your own business, which is so exciting and scary at the same time. It's only been, that's 6 months ago, 8? I don't even know. My maths is terrible. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in business 6 years and I still can't add up. So, now you're helping other people, like with everything that from your challenges and your struggles with the overwhelm and anxiety, and what you've learned that really helps you not just to stop and breathe, but all of the things you need to implement. Can you now talk to us about what is it, what is it that you implement that help you overcome all this stuff? Because guys, the stuff that Sarah implements is obviously the stuff that she now teaches and coaches women in business, or people in business, but you know, us women usually stick together anyway. It's pretty much only women listening to this podcast. I kind of feel like if a man's listening to, babe, you've got this, I don't know, maybe they love it. Anyway, I'm tangenting big time. So yes, talk to us, give us your hot tips of what you implemented to get to where you are now and be in control of that overwhelm and anxiety, and what our listeners can start doing.
Mm-hmm. So basically I have come from, I've obviously intuitively done this goal management process from a young age, not even knowing what it was, but I've come from a family of defense people. So everyone in my family is defense, either Army, Air Force. It's been ingrained in me. I was in cadets myself. So planning and discipline and taking action is really ingrained in me. And I know that one of the hardest things to get across is obviously a lot of people aren't brought out the same way, and that doesn't come to them easily. And that's why I really dive deep into these processes with my clients, because I want to work with them through that process and show them how I've done it. But when I was, previous to this, I was looking at always a plan B. I was always looking for planning and having something in place always. And I guess when I took that leap, I didn't have a plan B. But what I did know was, well, yeah, I can coach people, but I also think there's a benefit in that intuitive goal management process that I'd been doing for myself. And I didn't realize that it didn't come intuitively to people, because, as I said, you can set goals, but people don't manage that process. And I love how you're like,
yes, this is me. And I remember saying this when we recorded yesterday, that I am the queen of setting goals. I can set goals every single day, new goals. This is what I want. I can dream big. I've learned to dream big, but then that's it. You can have a vision, but the difference between someone with there's a difference between having a vision and being a visionary. That's how you say it. So someone with a vision is delusional. The person who's being the visionary knows where they're going and works backwards. What is it? Reverse engineers it and breaks it down. So then they know what steps they need to take to get there. And that for myself has been a big challenge, being a visionary, because it's so easy to have the vision, but you can see look ahead of you, like your goal's right there, but you have to pave your own path to get there, or you've got to 100%. Put the path into place. Otherwise, if only we could just teleport to the vision, click our fingers, we're there. But life doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So yeah, talk to us more about that.
So basically, I see so many people setting goals and so many workshops going, let's set your goals for this year and let's set you up for success and let's do all this. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And people are going to set pretty goals, and we can put a vision board together till the cows come home. Like that's the easy part. That's the fun part. But where people get unstuck is they don't actually manage that process, and they don't, as you said, reverse engineer it to the point where the whole purpose of why I really try and get people to manage their goals is because it takes away the overwhelm. because the whole process of it is breaking it down to the point where they're palatable tasks that you can implement, and you're really not allowing yourself room to stuff up. You're not allowing yourself, you know, the expectation that once you set a goal, it's not going to get there, because you've literally broken it down so small that it's easy enough to put in your to-do list and cross them off and get further and further and further. And that's, as I said, where people get unstuck, because they don't manage it. They don't review their process. They don't look at their goals and see how they're tracking and measure them properly. They just set a goal and forget it. And they think, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
And
I can relate. You're like speaking to me.
and you get disappointed when you don't get there. And, you know, there's this thing called hedonic adaptation. And it's when you are literally feeling like you're on this treadmill, someone's dangling a carrot in front of you and you're trying to grab it and you just can't get there. And that's where, if you don't set milestones, if you don't break down your goals into, you know, these mini wins for yourself, or so much so that you can tick something off every day, that's when you get disappointed, because you're reaching for this really, really big goal that, you know, you don't know when you're going to get there. You're just really struggling. You're like, oh God, like this is taking forever. And then people end up getting off the treadmill because they're like, well, that didn't work. Like, that took forever. I'm never going to get there. But by breaking it down, you're allowing yourself those mini wins that you go, yes, I know I'm on track to be able to get this. I can see the end of the tunnel. I can see where the goal is. And you're allowing yourself, one, to get rid of overwhelm, but two, to be able to set yourself up for success, because otherwise you're just literally on that treadmill trying and trying, and you're not making any progress because you're not allowing yourself the space to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so true, because we all want it right now. As you're saying, we all want to hit our goals right now, but we know if we give ourselves, say, one thing we know we could do, if we work on it, we can get it done in 2 weeks, but we're like, oh, we'll see. Wait, it's what I want to achieve in 2 weeks. And then the 2 weeks come and nothing's happened because you haven't done anything. I've done this. And then I'm like, oh, if only I took the action 2 weeks ago. Like, time's going to pass anyway. If,
100%.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yes. And there's actually,
I'm waiting sometimes. You know, I feel like I'm waiting to start my goals, but then it's like,
you never actually do that.
Yeah, if you keep waiting for something to happen. Yeah. Anyway.
And that's the thing. And there's another thing called Parkinson's law, which is literally like time will expand for the amount of time that you give it. And that's why you end up doing things last minute, or that's why you say, you know, an hour task will take 2 weeks, because you're like, I've got plenty of time, you know.
Yeah.
That's fine. And that's why it takes so long to do things, because you either the priority's wrong or you're looking at your time management. But also because it's just looking at it from a different angle, and, you know, putting that pressure on yourself as well. And I just see so many people putting pressure on themselves to think that these goals are unachievable, but they're not allowing themselves to take that next step, to allow themselves to, you know, take the chance and know that the only time that you're wasting is your own. And, you know, if you think about, you know, oh, that's a nice goal I'd like to have. And that's something I get told all the time. They're like, oh, that's a someday goal. Or, oh, yeah, I'll do that when I'm ready. Or I'll do that when I get time. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, you've got the same 24 hours as me. So does that mean like tomorrow? Does that mean today? You know, and I understand everyone's situation's different, but, you know, if you're thinking about it for a minute, that's another minute that you've wasted of your own time, because at the end of the day, it's going to be you. So, you know, what can you put in place now to elevate that success and nurture yourself and, you know, eliminate that overwhelm, because that's essentially holding you back. And this is one of the main things that I go into with my clients, is because, you know, you can come to me as a business owner and say, Sarah, this is my struggle, you know, this is where I'm going in my business. And I'll go, you know what, this isn't just a job for me. Like, this isn't just you coming to me and saying, I've got a struggle. And I go, here you go, here's a Band-Aid strategy, off you go, implement into your business. I really want to strip back everything to the point where you're putting things onto paper that you didn't even realize were swirling around in your brain. That we're looking at your big picture of what you actually want to create and the why behind why you're actually doing certain things. Because ultimately, a lot of the time, people will set these goals and it might be totally external. Like, it's got nothing to do with them. It's a goal that somebody else has put into their mind as a good idea. And it doesn't actually align to their values or what they want to create. So when I see my clients, go through this process, you will see it is such a rewarding feeling. I cannot tell you how rewarding it is watching my clients literally go, holy shit, and look down at all these things they want to create and realizing that it's actually possible and they've actually created themselves a roadmap of how to get there. And the overwhelm just washes over because they'll put down everything and really everything will snowball into every area of your life. It's not just let's work on your business, it's let's work on your business and let's see how we can manage those processes so you have more time to be able to put into the areas of your life that are of the highest value to you, because that's the purpose of doing it. When we may love business, but really we're creating a lifestyle for ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, that's when talking about goals, like all we want to do is feel happy, feel satisfied, have a sense of growth within ourselves and the things we create. And we need that help. We need to know that, or we need to be reminded, because I know we all know it, that we need to strip it back and work out, okay, what is it going to take to actually get there and get rid of all the distraction? Because we love to fill our heads with the distraction, what other people say we need to be focusing on. I think I suffer from this a lot.
But we all do. We all do.
Yeah.
We were talking about yesterday how, everyone needs a coach. And if I had it my way, I'd have one for every single area of my life.
Yeah.
Because, even recently with the whole, COVID thing, I mean, it's really put a spanner